he tried paying everyone the same salary. And guess what? It failed. No, really? You paid your chief financial officer the exact same amount as you paid your janitor, and it didn't work. Gee, I wonder why. How does somebody go into business and start a business and be a fucking entrepreneur and not understand the most simple aspects of economics or simple human behavior and what incentivizes, what motivates people? It just shocks and amazes me that some doofus is going to start a fucking company and he's going to pay everybody the same. Oh, gee, being CFO requires me to work 80-hour weeks. And I don't get to see my kids and my wife, who's probably going to divorce me because of that. The janitor, he's making the same money. Why am I busting my butt to work as the chief financial officer for this company to make the same amount as the janitor who works 40 hours a week and does much less work and it's a lot less stressful and he gets to see his kids? Why don't I just quit and become a janitor? Why don't you? Anyway, before I get into this stupid story more, I'd like to ask those of you out there that like and appreciate the raw, ripple nature of my content to please go check out my website, therealistphilosopher.com. That is therealistphilosopher.com. And consider clicking on one of those 3 donation options at the bottom of the page. Number 1 is my Bitcoin wallet address. You can send Bitcoin directly to that address. Number 2 is my Cash App. And number 3 is my Patreon, which is a per-piece platform. I make about 8 pieces per month. You donate $1, it's $8 a month, 50 cents, $4 a month. You choose what you donate. You can put a cap on it as well. It's up to you. Just in case you're afraid I might try to make more pieces than you could afford or intended to initially donate. So please go check that out, therealistphilosopher.com. I could really use your help. Okay, so brilliant genius CEO paid everyone in his company the same salary. And imagine that, he'd failed. Idiot, libtard, moron. So when Calvin Benton started his psychotherapy company, Spill. Psychotherapy? Whoa! Isn't psychotherapist supposed to be somebody that understands human behavior? How do you start a business and pay everyone the same amount and not know that that won't work? You're a psychotherapist. You're supposed to understand people. I say, this decision alone totally completely disqualifies you from giving anybody psychotherapy. He had the idea of paying everyone the same amount of money. He thought it would bring harmony to the team. Why? Why would it bring harmony? I would think it would have the exact opposite effect. You had 10 people in the room. Some of the people are doing less work. Some of the people have lower tier jobs. Some of the people have far less responsibility. Some of the people working half as much as the other people who are higher up, maybe on the board of the company, but you're all making the same amount. And you think that's not going to breed resentment? It's going to be the exact opposite of harmony, you moron. Instead, he was forced to abandon the scheme within a year because of the rancor I created and pay people according to their seniority and expertise. Oh, I don't hear the word merit in there. You mean their merit? You mean what they bring to the table? You idiot? Fucking commie moron. So it begins by saying, we realized that we had to pay attention to market forces, says Calvin. No. Really? You're participating in the market and you got to pay attention to market forces? No, that can't be. Stupid. Sometimes traditional practices are there for a reason. Yeah. Let me repeat that. Sometimes traditional practices are there for a reason. You see, this is something that the libtard, moron, social constructivists don't understand. Or should I say social deconstructivists, because they want to destroy what has been constructed, nay, what has organically arisen, because it's the best way to go about dealing with differing people in a society, because it's the best way to structure a society, a culture. For example, in America, where you used to have traditional marriage being the norm, monogamy being the norm, and of course, divorce being something that was abnormal, stigmatized, and frowned upon, which of course we can't do that now. Calvin set up Spill. What the fuck? So immediately I know he's a moron because he named his psychotherapy company Spill. I guess he's referring to spill the beans. Yeah, spill your guts. Yeah, wow. So clever, Calvin. So he set up Spill in Dalston, East London, yeah, I called it the UK, to provide online counseling, oh boy, and therapy to companies' employees. It helps them with problems such as depression and work-related stress. You mean the kind of work-related stress that might occur when the janitor's making as much as you, the CFO of the company? Started 2.5 years ago, the firm now has more than 100 UK companies on its books. Wow. It's a nice gimmick. I should look into that. 13 full-time staff. I think I'm probably a better psychotherapist than any of these idiots. Certainly this guy. 13 full-time staff and a number of part-time psychotherapists dotted around the country. Ah, subcontractors, yes. Over the last year, Spill sales have grown by 40%, which I'm going to distribute equally between all my employees because I'm a communist. We've seen an explosion in demand, says Calvin. Yeah, imagine that. More and more people are needing psychotherapy as you idiot deconstructivists deconstruct that which worked and was there for a reason. You never stop to think it's there for a reason. Of course, the reason they think is heteronormative patriarchy to oppress white and minorities. This is partly because of the pressures that people have been feeling, working from home during the lockdowns, which you social deconstructivist, postmodernist pinheads are largely responsible for. Many cannot set their work aside at the end of the day, and they suffer from burnout. Yeah, but they get paid the same as the janitor, or they should, from your point of view. Others struggle to get motivated to work when they're not in the office. In addition to work-related issues, people also go to Spill to seek help for depression and bereavement. The same reasons they would go to talk to any shrink. More and more firms are paying for their staff to get therapy for their problems because it's getting harder to get therapy on the NHS. But I thought that Britain was a socialist utopia. I thought the NHS was something that solved everybody's problems. I thought it was great. I thought it was wonderful. Both of Calvin's parents are qualified psychotherapists. Oh, lovely. Their son got in on their scam. He specialized in computing. He put the two disciplines together to create a service where therapists treat their clients over apps such as Zoom. You save on overhead. You don't have to have a shrink office somewhere where you pay rent and utilities. Right? Clever, clever, clever. Nice way to save money so you can pay everybody the same. I wonder if he scaled it up or scaled it down. I wonder if he paid everyone on his board and every executive there the same as a janitor would get paid, or I wonder if he paid the janitor and the lower echelon employees what the people on the board, the executives in the company would make. I wonder. I wonder which way he went. One of the big decisions that Calvin made when he founded Spill was to pay himself and his colleagues an equal salary. So stupid. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Let me explain something to you. Okay? Employees are a market. There's an employment market, and the salary you're giving them is like buying a product. Okay? Now let's say I go to the supermarket. Do you expect everything to cost the same price? No, because some stuff is more scarce. Some stuff is harder to get, harder to grow. Some things that are grown, there's not as big a harvest. It takes more time. It's more labor intensive. So, of course, the prices are going to differ. Not only that, but there's not equal demand for every product in the fucking supermarket, okay? So you couldn't charge the same price for everything. Yet this idiot tried to pay everybody the same when it's the same fucking principle. Not everybody's worth the same. Some people have more value. Some people have less value. Oh, no. Everybody's equal in value. Well, then, why can't I just go down to the supermarket and pay the same thing for a fucking lobster as I do for some, cook-up spaghetti? You know that hard spaghetti? Costs like 99 cents a pound. That you have to boil to eat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the lobster should be the same as the dry spaghetti. Really? Okay. There were 5 people, and everyone was pretty much contributing the same. Oh, really? Were they pretty much? No, that's not possible. Everyone's not going to be contributing the same. There's always going to be somebody that shines. There's always going to be some people that contribute more, and there's going to be some people that contribute less. And by the way, for those people who are contributing less, where's the incentive to contribute more? This also has a de-incentivizing effect in regards to how much work you're going to be willing to put out. I mean, if I'm working X amount of hours and my cohort is working Y, And that Y is less hours than me. And the hours that they do work, they're putting in less effort. And I'm having to make up the difference, but I'm getting paid the same? Who's going to do that? All you're going to do is attract a lot of lazy people. And then what's going to happen is not enough work is going to get done. You're actually incentivizing sloth and de-incentivizing hard work when you do this. But this guy's supposed to be a psychotherapist and he doesn't understand this? Good Lord. The quality of something, not that psychotherapists were ever of any good quality anyway. All this mental health bullshit is all a scam. Yeah, 2 days ago, being a tranny was a mental illness. And now, because people have become more accepting of it, we, the social deconstructivists, that are shrinks, have decided that it's now normal and not a mental illness. Oh, really? So it's just some kind of arbitrary thing based upon what is socially acceptable and has no real grounding in any kind of objective discipline that has standards. Oh, I see. So mental health is all a bunch of bullshit. Jeez, it's just a way to codify that which is normal and which is abnormal. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So we tried the experiment where we paid each of us an equal amount of money. Experiment. Regardless of experience. Why do you even... This experiment's been done before. You ever heard of Russia? It's going on right now in Venezuela. All the zoo animals are dead. There's no rats anymore. You want to control the rats? Implement socialism. The people will hunt down and eat those rats. They'll find new and clever ways to create traps that'll catch the rats, and there goes your rat population. Problem solved! You don't need to populate the fucking city with a bunch of stray cats. Just implement socialism, yo. The people will find clever ways to get all those rats to eat. What was this guy? What was he thinking? You don't need the experiment. It's already been done 100+ times, and it didn't work. Apparently, he hasn't studied his history. Yeah. Regardless of role, regardless of experience, we paid them all the same. We wanted to challenge the traditional model of pay. Hello? Hello, moron. Wake up. The traditional model of pay exists for a reason, just like traditional model of the nuclear family existed for a reason, and libtards like you destroyed it. The only reason people don't see that the traditional model of marriage was the way to go, and this obviously wasn't, is because this is a lot more clear. The cause and effect is a lot more obvious. With society, with culture, it's very easy to muddy the waters and create all these shades of gray and blame these outcomes on other things instead of what is obviously the problem. Obvious to you and me, anyway. It's easier to obfuscate and hide the cause when you're talking about social ills than it is economic ones like this. Oh, yeah, you wanted to challenge tradition. Yeah, I'm calling libtard. We decided on a £36,000 a year salary for everyone. By the way, that's a lot in the UK. We calculated that was a decent living wage for London. I don't know about that. London's a pretty expensive city. Well, depending on where you live. Initially, the measure worked well and fostered a lot of goodwill within the team. What does he mean initially? Like the first week? Until people started to see how unfair it was. Yeah. Oh, boy. Let's say we're going out for drinks, says Calvin. There wasn't a problem in regards to who pays or whether this person doesn't get paid as much as this person, so maybe the manager has to pay. Everyone got paid the same, so it was much easier in those social situations. As Spill took off, Calvin recruited new staff, such as a software developer, a salesperson, and clerical workers. And he decided to offer them all the same £36,000 salary. This is when the problem started. Yeah, of course! Now you're paying people who are sitting around fucking typing the same amount as the people who are actually bringing in the revenue in the company, creating the actual wealth, the majority of the wealth anyway. Of course, that's when problems started. You started paying the janitors the same amount as the people who were going out there and doing the psychotherapy, who spent, supposedly, I would hope, years and years and years in school to develop these skills and this human capital. Software developers are typically very in demand, and they usually take a higher salary than £36,000. Now, there's the other problem, you see. People, so I called it. He didn't scale it up, he scaled it down. Oh, that's brilliant! Salespeople are typically paid on, because he did both. For the people who would make less, he scaled them up. And the people who would make more, he scaled them down. So he brought everybody down to the mid-level. Of course, in hardcore socialism, what you get is everybody being reduced to the least common denominator. Salespeople are typically paid on commission, so it was not a model which particularly suited either of those two industries. No. Yeah, salespeople are paid on commission. So, if you just pay them a decent flat salary, where's their incentive to work harder to get more commission? They're going to do just enough to fucking squeak by, you idiot. We really struggled to attract senior talent for the software role. Yeah, I wonder why. Because you're paying far less than the market price? Ridiculous. What an idiot. Yeah, this guy, oh my God. How does somebody like this go into business? Oh my God. And it got to about 3 months in when the salespeople started asking to be paid according to sales targets they'd achieved, saying the fixed salary wasn't working for them. Yeah. So they were making a salary. You were demanding that they bring in a certain quota, which would pay more than the salary they were getting, and they started to get annoyed because they weren't being paid commensurate with what they were bringing to the table. Perfectly reasonable request. At the same time, Calvin was getting overwhelmed with applications for the £36,000 a year clerical job. He was I'm selling lobster for 50 cents a pound, yo. Well, yeah, you're going to sell a lot of fucking lobster that way. We were offering a lot more than other clerical jobs paid, and a lot of people were applying to the roles because they really wanted that high salary. No, really? Rather than wanting to work at Spill because they believed in the mission behind the company. What? Mission? Dude! You're the only person there worrying about a fucking mission. Most people want to get paid. Why don't you just make some more unreasonable demands, like they ought to work for free? I would work for free. I'm on a mission. Yeah, most people are in on a mission, pal. They got to pay their rent, they got to pay their bills, and they got to make as much money as possible so they have something for their retirement, you pinhead. Mission. Oh, boy, we have an idealist here who doesn't understand how reality really works, yet he's a psychotherapist, yet don't go to this guy for psychotherapy. Don't use Spill. You're going to get bad advice. Among the newly expanded workforce, the equal pay system was starting to cause grumbling. Of course it was. When we grew the team, we started to have some people who contributed more than others. Imagine that! All those idiots. They should realize that they need to contribute the same amount as the person who's contributing the least, so they don't rock the boat and make waves. That's kind of how it was in the Soviet Union, If somebody in the workers' factory was doing more work than everybody else, they would grumble. And they'd go to him and say, hey, you're making us look bad, okay? We're doing just enough to squeak by. Stop doing so much work. If you keep doing that much work and they notice you and they see that you're able to continue doing this work on a long-term basis, they're going to expect us to do the same. That's just not fair. You had some people who worked longer hours than others. The question started to arise, should this person be paid the same amount as me? No, they should be paid more if they're working more. If you bring more value to the table, if I bring in 5 perfect diamonds and you only bring in 3 perfect diamonds to sell to the fucking jeweler, they're the same size, same carat, same grade, you with 3 diamonds should not get as much as I do for 5 diamonds. What's so hard to understand about that? Oh, that caused a conflict in the team and a conversation in the team about whether this experiment was right to continue. Experiment. By the way, this is the typical leftist. They believe in experimenting with people's lives, livelihoods. That's what the Soviet Union was. That's what Vietnam was. That's what the Korean conflict was about. Cambodia, Venezuela. It's all a social experiment because they believe they can eventually, at least the useful idiots who follow this mantra, this equality mantra, this leftist bullshit, they all actually believe that this can work. They just haven't found the right formulae to make socialism work. And that's all this is. Experimentation to find the right equation, the right balance of this and that to get socialism to work. And then it'll be real socialism. Yeah, real socialism is the thing that has yet to occur. Well, Russia was real socialism, yo. China is real socialism, yo. It never was. Can you show me an example of the real socialism that you say is the one that would work? There's no examples, except in their head. After a year, Calvin bowed to the pressure from his staff. It took him a whole fucking year to figure out that this was a bad idea. I wonder how much talent he lost, by the way, during that year. How many good employees who were bringing in more wealth than everybody else, who were valuable members of his team, quit to go somewhere else. Because they're doing far more work than they're getting paid for. So it took him a whole year to wake up and smell the coffee and scrapped the equal pay system, replacing it with a traditional, that's an evil word if you're a leftist, traditional structure of pay grades based on seniority in the company and technical expertise. meaning merit, human capital. I think it was a disappointment when the experiment failed. You found out your socialist utopian narrative was bullshit. We wanted to do something which was democratic and egalitarian. Why don't you go live in Sweden or New Zealand or some bullshit, one of those Nordic countries. Yeah, go live there. Yeah, you'll love it. Egalitarian. Get the fuck out of here. Democratic. But sometimes traditional practices are there for a reason. Sometimes you don't have to reinvent the mold on everything. Oh, just some things, right? Yeah. One good thing out of Spill's equal pay experiment, however, after it was scrapped, Calvin decided to make everyone's salary level common knowledge to the rest of the staff. Not sure that's a great idea, but anyway. Since our salary policy is open, he says, there are rumors over who is being paid what. That has helped produce harmony in the office. And if you, what produced the harmony in the office wasn't you letting everybody know what everybody else was making. They already knew before what everybody else was making. The same. It was the fact that you started to pay people based upon their merit. That has helped produce harmony in the office. And if you are in the therapy business, it's important to have harmony in your workplace. Yeah. Why don't we just pay everybody who's playing professional basketball the same? Well, let's just pay the guy that's benched for most of the season because he sucks and he's only there to maybe occasionally fill in when somebody gets injured. Let's pay him the same amount as Michael Jordan got paid. Sure, why not? We want to be fair and egalitarian. How fair is that? The person who's bringing in the most viewership, who scored the most points, getting paid the same amount as the person who scores the least points. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. This guy's a therapist? He's got to be one of the worst therapists on the planet. Yikes! I'm not going to this guy for fucking therapy. I'd love to look at how many of his therapy patients have committed suicide. I bet it's an inordinate number compared to other therapy practices. Anyway, what do you think? Is this guy one of the most oblivious fucking people you've ever heard of in your entire fucking life? Are these libtard, egalitarian, so-called democratic policies, which means I can vote to steal your money if I have a majority, is that the way to go? Or is a more traditional model correct? Which, of course, the more traditional model is correct. But let me know what you think in the comments section. And please like and subscribe to my BitChute channel if you have not already. BitChute.com/The Realist Philosopher. That's BITCHUTE.com/The Realist Philosopher. And if you really like what I do, the red pill nature of it, please consider going and checking out my website, therealistphilosopher.com. That is therealistphilosopher.com. And making a donation. I can really use your help.